Hello guys, welcome to the next video on Node.js tutorial for beginners. In the last video we have seen how we can write a small server using Node.js. Now in this video I'm going to show you how you can use Node debugger to debug any problem in Node.js. So what I have done here is, in the last video I've shown you how you can use this create server, and what I have done is I have edited this code a little. So I have created our variable called body, and I have provided some value to this body, right? And then I have created one more variable called content length, and this content length is equal to the length of the body. So just take the body variable and call a method called length on it, and it will give you the length of this body variable which contains this text, right? And in the response dot write head I have the status code, and in the last video I have shown you this header which is content type, and there is one more header called content length, and here I'm just passing as a value of the body length. So content length I'm passing here, this variable here. Okay, so basically what it's going to do is it's going to just print the header, and in the header we are going to see the content length also. Now I'm going to just run my app. By the way, I'm using this different terminal this time. This terminal is for Windows, which is called Commander, CMDER. If you want, you can download it for free from its website. So just search for Commander, download, and you will be good to go. So node, and then just run your app and press enter, and then I'm going to open my browser and just run this URL which I'm running. So, and when I will go here, so first of all I will just click this option here in the network, which is this one, and there is a variable called content length, and length is 28 right now, right? So this content length is due to this variable, right? Now let's see how we can use Node debugger. So for example, what I want to do is I want to, for example, by mistake I called a wrong method on this body variable. For example, instead of typing length, I typed wrong spelling of length, for example, right? Now this is a mistake. So when I run my code once again and I refresh my browser once again, you can see I don't get any response here, and when I click here I also don't get the value of this content length. So right now I can see content length is undefined, right? So this is basically an error which is coming from this, but we know that we intentionally type this length wrong, but sometimes you don't know from where the error is coming. So for this we can use Node debugger. So right now, instead of running node app.js, you just need to write node debug and then app.js. So just add debug in between node and your file name, right? So node debug app.js and press enter, and then it's going to open your code in the node debugger. Now the first thing it'll show you is some lines of code. So I can see first 3 lines of my code in the debugger, right? Now to know the more options about this debugger, you can always type help here and press enter, and it's going to give you the basic commands. So R is for run, CONT, or its shortcut is C is for continue, and any XT you can type, or N for the next, or step, or out, or backtrace, or set breakpoint, and many other commands, right? Now for example, somehow I know that the error is coming from here because we are not able to see the body, right? So here we want to set the breakpoint. So this is the line 4, right? So what we can do here is we can call a method called set breakpoint, which is this one, right? So just call this method set breakpoint, and then in here in the brackets you just give the line number. So line number we are interested in here is line number 4, right, which is the declaration of body tag. So just write 4 here and then press enter, and our debugger is stopped here, right? Now in order to continue this program, you can just type CONT or directly C to continue and press enter, and the program will continue, for example. Okay, and then when I just refresh my browser once again, I can see the breakpoint is met. So our breakpoint is at 4, so we are on our breakpoint, right? Now in order to go further, you can type S to step into, or if you want to go next, then you can type NEXT. Okay, so for example I will just type N for the next command, because for next command you can either use N or next itself, right? And press enter, and we are on the next line, right? Once again, when you press enter, it will execute the last command you have executed. So if I don't type anything here, it will just continue implementing or executing the last command you have executed, which is next, right? And let's check the values of these variables, right? So to know the value of these variable, I can type REPL, which is read eval print line, for example, and then press enter, and then we can just type body and then press enter, and it gives the value of the body, which is correct in our case because the body value was this, which is matching in the debugger. So we know that this variable is perfectly fine. Now we go to the next variable, which is content length, and press enter, and it doesn't give any value. So I know that something is wrong here, and then I can see here the spelling mistake is here, and I know the problem is coming from this place. So I can correct this problem, and I can go out of my debugger by typing exit. So press Ctrl C first and then dot exit. Just press dot exit and you are out of your debugger. Okay, and then if you want, you can run your Node application normally, and then just refresh your page and you will see this response once again, right? Now if you are using Visual Studio Code also have the option of debugging, right? So if you want to debug using this Visual Studio Code editor, you can go to view, and in the view you can just press debug. So you will be in the debug menu. You can see here there is a green button which is for debug, right? And if you want to start debugging, you just need to press this green button here, and you can see your debugger is running, right? And in here you can even set the breakpoint. So for example, I want to set the breakpoint here on the line 4. You can see this red dot. You just need to click here, and for example I just refresh my web page. For example, you can see this breakpoint is reached when I press the this refresh button, right? So for example, I will just break this debugging once again, and once again I can for example I can do this spelling mistake, and once again I can start the debugger, and once again I will refresh my page for example, and we are here. And then to the next step, you can just press this button which will go to the next step. And if you want to see the value, you just need to hover over this variable and it will show you the value of body. And in here you can see content length is undefined, right? So we know the error is coming from this point, right? And this is how you can debug from Visual Studio Code also. And to break everything from the debugging option, you just need to press this red button. Okay, so this is how you can debug your problems in Node.js. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and bye for now.